Yo guys, it's MartydudeVR, and we got to talk about the Steam frame again. So I recently had a video, it was my fastest growing video maybe ever. And thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for actually agreeing with me. I'm surprised a lot of you guys agree with me. But I today want to address people who disagree with me, because some people said I was just putting my bias out there without criticism or whatever. Well, you're wrong. We're gonna talk about it today. So I looked through the comments. I didn't get everything. There's 1,000 comments. And I pretty much can guess a lot of the main points, because I saw a lot of the main points that I thought were going to be the pushback in the comments below. So today we'll go back and address all the points on why I think people are still wrong about the Steam frame. Now, I don't know if we need to eat the music. Maybe, eat the music, but keep it on the low. All right, so first point that we're going to address today is that I invalidated a lot of you guys' opinions, especially the existing enthusiasts and Quest 3 owners who wanted a upgrade. I don't think I did. I think I just called a lot of you guys out on bullshit. And I think a lot of people are kind of speaking without knowing the status of the market. So it's not really an invalidation. I just genuinely, in my heart of hearts, in my VR heart of hearts, I think a lot of you guys just aren't right about what the Steam frame represents, and two, it being outdated, and we're going to address that. But I'm gonna put all my points in this video. Please, I beg you to debate me in the comments, because I actually want to talk to the people who on the other side of the aisle about this type of stuff. So I will never downplay anybody's opinions or feelings ever on this channel. It's always healthy debate over here with your boy. I'm the mayor of fair. If I'm wrong, I will get on camera and say it. I don't have that much pride to do all that. But first things first, we got just the elephant in the room, which is the price. So this thing could be really expensive or really cheap. And I think this is where the main focus of the conversation really is in all actuality. And we will stir the conversation going forward, is how much the Steam frame actually is. So a lot of people are saying maybe 400. I don't think 400 is possible. I just don't, especially with the tech that thing is packing. I think personally it's going to be $699 to $799. Now, some people might think, oh, that's DOA. I don't think so. I think people will pay a little bit more, like I said before, to get away from Meta. And I think people underestimate the amount of Valve glaze. As a Valve glazer myself, the glaze on planet Earth for that company, I think surmounts $200 more than $499. Now, Valve could throw us a curveball and make this thing like $899. If it's $899, I will get back on camera myself and tell you that until that price drops, it might be DOA. Now, would I pay $899 for it? I would, because I love Valve. I love the ecosystem that they're presenting to us with the Steam frame. But the common person, no, they're not gonna buy that. But when they release the price, I will get back on camera and address that. So that way, you know, you can rake me over the coals if you want to, or you can be like, okay, Marty was right. We'll see. We'll see. Now, the next point I got to address is when I said people aren't buying VR games, or y'all don't buy VR. And I stand on that. 10 toes, 10 fingers on that. Because it's true. I mean, we see the market, we see the data, we see everything. MetaQuest, we'll do both sides of the aisle. MetaQuest and PCVR. PCVR, the top games, and two people noticed this, are all hybrid VR games, like War Thunder. VR Chat was like the only full VR game, but VR Chat is just VR Chat. And even then, they're complaining about not making enough money. So that's why they're monetizing the VR Chat ecosystem itself to actually bring bread back, because they're not making as much as they're putting out, because it's a free ecosystem. And how do you get money back on something that's free without doing freemium? And for the PC VR side, a lot of the games that people are playing are hybrid games, like even like DCS World or Microsoft Flight Sim, or a lot of the UEVR games. They're usually hybrid VR games. So no, I don't think people are buying full VR games. Now, on the MetaQuest side, you're seeing games like Animal Company, Gorilla Tag Clones are all really most of the top 20 of generators for Meta. Like they tell you themselves, the most money being made on the Meta store is from free games that have monetization practices like DLC and cosmetics and stuff like that. I personally find it kind of abhorrent how the MetaQuest ecosystem presents premium content. They don't do it well. Like, you would not know that some of the best VR games that I have personally tried, like Batman, Asgard's Wrath, or even the Assassin's Creed VR game was really good. You wouldn't see that when you look at the Meta store, because all you're seeing is Gorilla Tag clones. And a lot of developers and business owners have said, hey, Meta, can you help us promote our games? Because we're making these games for your platform. They don't promote them. And Meta's saying, hey, do this free-to-play model so that you can generate money, because most of the people on our headset are children who aren't buying games like that. When I was a kid, I wasn't buying games like that because I was broke. I was a kid. Same thing. You think the kid is playing Gorilla Tag 20 hours, not 20 hours a day, is crazy. 5 hours a day. Okay, 5 hours a day is crazy. A few hours a day, a lot of hours per week playing Gorilla Tag is gonna go buy Assassin's Creed Nexus for $50? No. They're gonna get on Gorilla Tag and hop on Roblox and hop on all the free games. You have to basically hopping back from freemium model to freemium model. And just VR space right now, the older people, which is a lot of the PC VR people, because a lot of PC VR people are older, and that's going off my analytics, like most review PC VR things. They're the only ones who can really afford these PC VR headsets. And so that's what you see. So me saying that people don't buy games isn't a jab, just me trying to be mean. It's facts. People don't buy VR games. And that's why we need new people. Another point I want to make, Half-Life Alyx. Ooh, yeah, I got a lot of y'all mad last time. I said, y'all don't need another Half-Life game. And honestly, as the market dictates right now, it doesn't make sense for another Half-Life VR game. And the reason I say that is because Valve spent 25 million, I think it was what I found online, for making Half-Life Alyx. Now, I could be wrong. Could be more. I think it's more. And you also got to think about the Valve Index being made around that time too. A lot of R&D, a lot of money invested. Now, if Half-Life Alyx sold to the point where they're like, you know what, we can make our return on investment back, making another Half-Life game, I think they would do it. Now, Valve obviously can't count to the number 3, and we all recognize and know that. But I think there's a real case for them not being able to recuperate their money, because this is all experimental technology. And something else I want to say, I feel like Half-Life Alyx kind of blessed and cursed a lot of VR gamers. And what I mean by that is people on a lot of there's a section of especially PC VR gamers, and this is what I hate about the PC VR community, is that they think only photorealism equals immersion. There's a lot of great stylized VR games out there. Fisherman Tales, if you ever played that game, it's one of the best VR games that you can play. Full story, voice acting, amazing game. Stylized graphics. Vertigo 2, not photorealistic, has really great graphics, but it is stylized. A lot of the great VR games are stylized, and some of them are photorealistic. Games like Lone Echo, Red Matter, I'm trying to think, I think Hubris is pretty good. It's okay. Stormland, the old Oculus PC VR games that they don't make anymore because they didn't make any money. That's why you don't see AAA in VR. So no, we won't see AAA in VR until units start moving, until people start buying games, and people support these developers. Support the developers. Because right now we're stuck in this weird paradox where we want AAA. We're not buying AA or indie though. AAA moves off the rest of the market. And we had companies like Ubisoft on the biggest VR platform, MetaQuest, say, oh, that Assassin's Creed VR game didn't meet our expectations in terms of sales. That sends a dinger to the rest of the market. Hey, we not selling. And honestly, Valve makes a lot of money. We all know that, even from Counter-Strike, Dota, Steam, the Steam store itself, a lot of their other business things, they make a lot of money. I would rather them put more money into making that headset and that Steam machine cheaper than making another Half-Life game. I'm just saying. Now, will we ever see another Half-Life VR game? Maybe in a few years. I think if the Steam frame sells well, we can see one. But if I'm Gaben, if I'm Valve, I'm not making another Half-Life VR game until I see improvements in the sales, because they can see all that stuff. So to make a long story short, no, y'all don't buy VR games. Another point I want to address is people saying that the specs are outdated. I don't think they are. I think people are actually overestimating where we are in VR right now. I feel like right now, consumer grade VR is going to be just LCD for a few more years. And that's only because this takes time. Like, people don't realize the Quest 2 came out in 2020. October 13th, 2020. The Quest 3 came out 3 years later, with probably like 2.5 years of R&D on October 10th, 2023. Now, the chip between the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 was substantially stronger. It is 2025. Meta didn't release a headset this year. They released the Quest 3S last year. Then they're probably not going to release a headset next year because it's going to be AR glasses. And then in 2027, once technology moves forward more, they're going to release another VR headset that's going to be substantially stronger than the Quest 3. So I genuinely think right now we are on track for consumer VR. I think a lot of people just in their heads thought, okay, it's been 2 years since the Quest 3. And I think we need to think of VR in terms of not console cycles, but maybe console cycles like cut in half. Usually it's like 8 years before you get another console. Not this time, especially not with VR. I think we need to think of this as whenever Snapdragon gets another chip, especially another XR chip done, because their chip might not be done probably until 2026, 2027 for the XR2 Gen 3. I think that's the thing. I went up the XR2 Gen 3 or 4. I can't remember right now, but one of those. That's going to be the next iteration of standalone VR. We aren't there yet. So right now, we aren't there yet. Micro OLED is still expensive to make and to especially have it a high resolution that people want. Now, if there's a way, and we address the OLED thing. Some people said OLED. Now, the thing with OLED that I've been seeing from people who know way more than I do, things like screen door effect and other things that kill the immersion. Now, for me, when I'm using my LCD headsets, Quest 3 is really good. To this day, I don't care what anybody says. But a headset around that resolution is totally fine. The HP Reverb G2 was a great headset for its specific use at LCD at its resolution. Great. People always like, oh, it looks amazing. And it was a good step. Now, there is headsets like the Pimax Crystal Light, but the Pimax Crystal Light is very heavy. And people are like, we want lighter VR headsets. If you want a lighter VR headset, you're going to want a Quest 3 or a Steam Frame. People who are cool with heavier VR headsets at higher resolutions, cool, do your thing. But no, I don't think that the specs are outdated. I think people have a very bad perception of how fast technology moves in the XR space. Because while it does move fast, it don't move that fast for what y'all looking for. And I especially think you can't say that when the rest of the headset is very innovative and high spec. Very good FOV. A lot of you guys are used to the Quest 3 FOV, which is around the same as a Steam Frame. Not bad. It even has a PCI port on the bottom of it and a storage expansion. There's a lot of things that are going to make this headset great that other headsets under 1,000 don't have. I want to also address the color pass-through thing. A lot of people were like, hey man, I still want my color pass-through. That's cool. I still think it's kind of useless for a PCVR focused gaming device. But I mean, yeah, that's a cool complaint. I'm not mad at it. Personally, I wouldn't, if I was Valve, I wouldn't spend the money on making the headset have color pass-through either. Especially when it can be modded on. I don't know how good those mods will be, but the VR community always figures it out. They'll do it again. But people who actually use the color pass-through for like virtual desktop and other stuff like that, valid. Ain't mad at you. I just don't think it's worth that much of a person. Another point I saw is that we wanted an upgrade under 1,000. I just don't think, like I said earlier, it's here yet. I hear you, I really do. I hear you. A lot of you guys have been on the Quest 3 for a long time, meaning 2 years, which ain't really a long time. But I feel you. I honestly understand all that. I hear you, trust me. I just don't think that the industry right now is ready for a upgrade of micro OLED proportions or higher resolution under 1,000 or at a good price that casual consumers will actually want to pay into. Because as we can probably assume, most people aren't going to pay over $799. $699 is pushing it for this VR headset. Another comment I saw is the software isn't that special. Now I think you guys are smoking fentanyl. Crack ain't enough. We gotta go up. Gotta go to fentanyl, because a Linux-based VR headset that has a whole operating system built into it. That means full potential for modding. Whatever the gurus of Linux can come up with, a lot of modularity to this headset. I think you're being short-sighted, and honestly, if you saw all the things that are listed and you didn't think it was special, I can't help you. Maybe God can, he's stronger than me. But MartydudeVR, I can't help it if you can't see the use of an open source, no walled garden ecosystem for creating whatever the fuck you want. If you can't see the value in that, then keep your Quest 2 or Quest 3 because you need to stay there. Another comment of wide variety that I saw was that this isn't a Valve Index upgrade. Another comment, smoking crack. This is a Valve Index upgrade in every way. Lighter. Now the FOV isn't wider, but it's still good FOV. The screens are better, higher resolution, no base stations or anything like that, no extra costs for, you know, these little babies right here, which are still expensive. No wire, and that's a big thing to a lot of people. Now on the PC VR side, we kind of don't care, but to the casual consumer, if they can choose between a wire, you know, let me reach up, a wire, you know, or on a pulley system, whatever, they're gonna choose the wireless headset every time. So I think for stuff like that, people just gotta be real. You're not getting base stations for a while. Now they could make a faceplate or something that's Lighthouse compatible, but this headset tracks in the dark. You can literally play this headset in the dark, just like with base stations. So it's like, I hear you guys on that, but it's like, I kind of don't. And I think most users, new users for VR, which I think Valve is aiming for, and I hope they are, they're not want to deal with base station setting up and all that stuff. Like I said, I have 4 base stations, guys, around this room. Costs a little bit of money. Now, base stations do break down. Inside out tracking does not, at least in the cases that I know. I've had to replace like 2 base stations over the years, maybe 3. And that was some more money I had to spend. So honestly, in every way, this is an upgrade to the Index. I'm not hearing that. I'm not seeing what you guys are saying. And I did read all the comments. I still don't agree. I've had it. The Index was my second VR headset. Love the Valve Index. That was literally what my gateway into VR, especially when using it with like Half-Life Alyx and those type of games, like Stormland and all that. Man, I was in love. But there's a reason it was an enthusiast device at $1,000. Because only an enthusiast would want to deal with base stations and all the other stuff. And Valve didn't write off the base stations. They kind of said that people keep buying them, they keep making them, and I hope I can find the source for that. I hope I can. But yeah, guys, pretty much it. And I want to address this last thing. People said that I was selling out for Valve and stuff like that for money. I don't know. I don't know when Gaben sent me a check. I wish you would have sent me a check. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not selling out for Valve, guys. I do love Valve as a company because they innovate. They don't have shareholders. Shareholders kill gaming. If you haven't been noticing for the past like 10, 12 years, I think that they give us not what we want, but what gaming needs. Like VR gaming needed the Valve Index back in the day. Needed a Half-Life Alyx back in the day. Right now, what VR needs is consumer grade VR at a decent price. Last thing waiting on, that price. Hopefully, it's a good price. And if I really wanted to make some money shilling, I would sell you a Meta Quest right now because they got some good commission. There's a reason why a lot of your favorite VR YouTubers only sell Meta Quest. Just saying, take that as you will. They getting money out here. Me, I bounce around from company to company, reviewing headsets like I wish. That's how I'm gonna keep doing it. With all that being said, with MartydudeVR, make sure you come back because I am gonna be comparing the Steam frame to the Quest 3. Your specs, and we're also going all people who have used it in the VR space for user accounts. But MartydudeVR, remember, I'm just a dude with a lot of VR. Peace.